Hmm. Ha! I did it. Echoey. Echoey. Ha ha. Feedback. Put this up here. Break the internet. Ooh, my industry. Hey, welcome to Gotham After Dark. My Gotham After Show, where I talk about tonight's episode of Gotham. I was supposed to have some chilling stuff. I've had a horrible week and was really horrible at getting people. So yeah, this is gonna kind of be a truncated edition since it's just me. Let's see, what do we have to talk about tonight? Well, tonight's episode was the Balloon Man, and it featured. I'm looking at my notes. Yeah. So tonight's episode was about the Balloon Man. That was the main storyline. It followed the garden and bullock hunting vigilante. Woo, there we go. I'm hearing echo things. I should really find my headphones. Yeah, it followed Garden and Bullock, and they were hunting this pig mask. Well, he was pig masked at the start, but he wore a really cool costume later. Vigilante who was gunning for corrupt people and attaching them to giant weather balloons and floating them up into the stratosphere, which was it was gimmicky, but it was kind of cool. And I'm glad we're seeing more of these gimmick villains in Gotham because it would be kind of boring for them to just chase after normal murderers and criminals and all those things. Let me start with some negatives about tonight's episode. The tone of the show is still kind of settling in. We're 3 episodes in, and there's this weird meshing of the surreal aspects of Gotham from that we know from the comics and so on, and this more realistic crime drama that we're witnessing unfold. However, I'm taking that with a grain of salt. Every show goes through its motions, goes through probably a couple of so episodes as far as the flow goes. Let's see. First thing that was kind of interesting was that they brought Penguin back to Gotham already. I was wondering whether he would have gone on a longer road trip and we'd have seen him go through some stuff out there, but he is back in Gotham already and he is vicious. Penguin is my outright favorite character right now. His arc is engrossing, to say the very least. He excuse me, he is working, we see him going through his whole where's that button? Is this it? Yeah, he's going through that whole but he's going through this whole arc with him, he's going through, his whole rise to power and so on. It was interesting to see him, show up and kind of ingrain himself into the city again, starting from the bottom once more. I'm very interested to see where that goes. His ability to kind of appear subservient to other people and to, he seems to understand the workings of the underworld of Gotham, which kind of belies his kind of neurotic twitches and his personality so far. What else? I was kind of this is more film talk, but I was kind of so about the transitions, with the news reports. I didn't like that part of it. I hate exposition via newscast. I feel it's cheap. It works sometimes, but not all the time, and it's such a staple on some of these shows where you have to show up a bigger world. And I think I think they need to just kind of the episode needed less of it. What else? No, that's my notes for something else. Montoya and Crispus Allen, they're still seeming very extraneous, and I think it's because we're not getting much development of them as a duo. We're getting development of Montoya, but Crispus is kind of just there. He's not really being developed yet. I'm looking forward to. Is my volume low? Nope. Whoa, camera. Make up your mind. Yeah, Crispus is kind of Crispus, not Christmas. Crispus he's not being developed yet. He's an interesting character. I know they have a lot of places to go with him as far as seeing the corruption in Gotham City and his whole journey that we know from the comics to see. We're gonna probably see some of those elements, but not all of them because there are supernatural aspects, and I don't think those are going to be part of Gotham. a lot of people have been complaining about how they're beating us over our heads with oh, this is going to lead to Batman. This is the world of Batman. We're going to drop him. We're going to drop Batman references and anything. And I feel that I agree with the sentiment that we need to be beaten over the head less with the Batman references. But at the end of the day, the at the end of the day, that is the major differentiating factor about this show from, say, Law and Order or NCIS or one of those normal procedurals. Uh, and I'm willing to forgive it because we have what being attached to the Batman mythos does is that we have these longer arcs and we know we're going on this long journey with these characters, and it allows a little bit of a little bit of it gives it a little bit of boost to get us through these early episodes to oh, that's Catwoman, that's Poison Ivy, and it kind of keeps us going in a sense. um that being said, I'm still a bit iffy on how hard they're leaning on young Bruce Wayne, and how and when they went into the scenes with him, there were some very obvious things that they were doing, in terms of he's reading the news. This little 11-year-old kid is reading the newspapers, and he's angry at the world and stuff like that. But they did some really subtle things, like he's sword fighting with Alfred, and he has this moment of like rage and lashes out at Alfred, and that to me is saying a lot about where his oh, my volume is so low. Can I turn up my volume? I don't know. Can I turn up my volume? Do I have a mixer? Ah, I have a mixer. Check, 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 check. Wonder how I sound. Let me see. Let me check. All right, cool. So, yes, I turned up my volume a bit, so I should get closer to the phone. Ooh, wait, that might be why. Hold on. No, nope, 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 nope. I'm not sure. I'm working on this. I can see the little volume thing next to my head, but it's so tiny because I'm shooting this on my phone, even though I'm streaming through my laptop, so it's kind of weird. Yeah, I'm just gonna sit closer. What else? What else? Let me pull up. I was writing things down, but I was, doing several other things. Uh, I like the Balloon Man character. One thing is his second victim. I didn't like that they just dropped the character into the one episode just to kill him off. It was kind of cheap because oh, smarmy, corrupt, obviously corrupt police officer, and then we meet him in one scene, and then two scenes later, he's gone, and he was a little bit larger than life, and I didn't really like his characterization as such. I was kind of glad that he was gone, by the end of it. However, in the scene where he confronts the Balloon Man was wearing this, what who knows who knows what darkness lurks in the hearts of men. Only the shadow knows costume, and I thought that was cool. And there was a little bit of characterization of the Balloon Man in that he wasn't a very physical character. Uh, yeah. After that, we had a interesting little confrontation with and Barbara and Montoya, and I am a little bit of touch and go, as far as the performances of both actresses go. However, there was an awesome shot in it with the two of them sharing a moment. And right after that, I realized that Barbara's apartment is inside a clock tower. And if you know Oracle from the comics, she's based out of a clock tower. So that was a pretty cool piece of production design and Easter egg dropped in there. What else? What else? What else? Angel Batista from Dexter. One of my favorite characters from Dexter was in it today. Um, his character. I figure it might be a recurring role. I hope I see him next week. As he and Penguin's story arc continues to see if he's the first person to fall. To the Penguins' whole scheme to take over the Gotham underworld. And it was really interesting and it's really interesting how they managed to convey after that, how they managed to convey the presence of the Balloon Man vigilante influencing Bruce Wayne without outrightly saying it. I like using visual and audio cues to really kind of convey feelings and emotions and to move the story along without having to exposit it through dialogue. There was a little bit of the Batman suiting up moment where they intercut between Bruce Wayne and Jim Gordon, and that was cool as well. But then we had a little bit of a kind of a denouement with Gordon and Barbara sitting in bed after the Balloon Man was captured. And it's this discussion about vigilantes and whether the city needs vigilantes and what kind of place creates them and so on. And it's interesting to hear Gordon's views about vigilantes now because we know his relationship with Batman later, and to see how that his worldview on vigilantism Chime is bothering me. Yeah, to hear his views on vigilantism and how that is going to develop into the next season. Switch to the watch page. Am I gonna have to? No, I'm not gonna have to mute it. I don't know if anybody's in chat. Is there a chat? I don't know. Say something, I'm giving up on you. Say something, say something, I'm giving up. Back to my notes. Yeah, it's interesting to hear that where the dynamic between Gordon and vigilantes is right now. Is going to go in future episodes. We are not, we're not at the behest of, yeah. It's interesting to hear his character's views now because we know what his relationship with Batman is going to be like. We have expectations where that is concerned, and to see him develop over the coming seasons to really build on that. And the last shock of Penguin showing up at Jim Gordon's apartment. Now that is the most interesting hook we've had so far in between episodes, and it's really interesting that Penguin keeps being this hook that keeps us going from episode to episode. Why is he at Gordon's apartment? That's what I want to know. That's what I'm gonna go watch next week. And then next week's episode is taking us into Arkham Asylum, and we get to see what's happening in Arkham nowadays and so on. Some general thoughts about the episode. I didn't really feel for the Balloon Man character's plight. He's he's an okay villain, and the truth is these villain of the week characters are really just minor things to move the plot in a particular episode along while we are experiencing these larger story arcs like Fish and Penguin and Gordon's story arcs. I really would like to see more of the storylines progress at the same pace as Penguin's storyline. We've seen Penguin go through this great trauma of with Fish and then coming back, and now we're seeing his rise again. and I'd like to see Gordon's storyline maybe progress at a pace to match that, as well as seeing some of the subplots, the Fish Mooney subplot with Falcone, and the Barbara Gordon Montoya subplot. And I'd definitely like to see them, start to have more of an effect on the storyline. Maybe move the characters a bit quicker. I mean, it's 20 something episodes. It might not be 20 something episodes in this first season, but it's a lot of episodes compared to, say, a Breaking Bad, where it's usually like a 12 episode season or something. So I'm going to be a little bit patient as far as development is going, but there are a lot of positives. Not the least of which is the look of the show. From the very like opening shots to the shot in Barbara's apartment, and the shot from in the sewer with Catwoman I'm gonna say Catwoman with Catwoman and Gordon looking up at her. I think they've really just taken this ability to visually mesh this timeless, this kind of timeless look and very modern and sleek cinematography, and it's really working for me. That's kind of my thing. Another thing that I'm really digging is the buddy cop relationship of Bullock and Gordon. They go to, they're investigating the Balloon Man stuff, and they follow a lead, and they run into the apartment chasing the dude, and Gordon is arresting the one guy, and Bullock is getting his ass beat by this Amazonian black woman, and he's just getting his butt kicked, and he's like, hey, Jay, he's calling Gordon, help, and he's like, what? And the lady like has a TV that's about to smash him, and he's just like, what? And she just, casually lobs this CRT big tube TV over the couch, as she's like raising her hands. And that kind of dynamic, that injection of humor into the story is, it's good to keep us, involved without, burdening us with too much of the darkness. My legs asleep. Ooh. And what other things did I like? I didn't too like the Balloon Man conflict. I'm still not sold on the Catwoman character. I see where they can go with her, but I don't know about her whole relationship to Gordon. Her whole relationship with Gordon within this show. I feel it's too close. I feel she's too close, and I'd like to see her little world built out on its own. I want to see more of the street kids. I want to see more of the less privileged side of Gotham really develop. What else? Da, 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 da. There's one really interesting thing I'm digging is the whole father-son relationship between Alfred and Bruce. We've seen their relationship in the future, and it's felt more like an advisor in a sense, a wise person, leaning over his shoulder, whispering in his ear. And in this episode, I really felt, and you could see it in Alfred's face, I really felt the fatherly vibe that that Bruce is essentially Alfred's son. Whether he has other families left to be seen, but the truth is, he cares about him like is his son. But there's this clear line that Bruce is my boss. I'm in charge. I'm taking care of him, but he's my job. And and there is this dynamic. There's this subtle. It's below the surface dynamic between the two of them. I don't know where I've been going. This is kind of a truncated edition because I am exhausted. That's about it. I'm looking forward to the next week's episode. It's gonna be bigger. I'm gonna have Mama Shell on. I'm probably gonna have maybe Tybo, a couple other people on to talk more about Gotham. Probably talk about this episode as well. Tomorrow I'm talking about the season premiere of Korra. So join me for that. It'll be up sometime tomorrow. I might change my shirt. I don't know. Might just shoot it right here. Alrighty. Bye. Boom, 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 boom. I don't know where my window is. Alrighty. Bye.